Hi, I made it.
Hello, Kelly.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
What's happening to me, Kelly? It looks like I just slept for 6 days.
Oh, you probably did. Hey, everybody. Hello. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Kelly Wright.
And I'm James Ernest, and we're here all week, the only 30-minute comedy podcast with a patented chisel tip.
It's true. The chisel tip for her pleasure. It is the Ides of March, James.
Yes,
we
it's
have to
time for
settle
that
some
photograph
debts.
that circulates on Facebook every year of a bottle of Caesar dressing being stabbed through the heart.
You know, I haven't seen that. But apparently
I guess we don't
you
travel
have,
in
and
the same
apparently-
circles.
I guess not. I just know that it's the Romans see this as a deadline for settling debts. So I have some
Yeah,
people
no
to talk to
kidding.
after the show. Yeah, no kidding.
You and 50 of your closest friends will gather around me with sharp, pointy knives. It's an act of pure heroism, or so they say.
You, my friend, you've been gone on the water, on the high
I
seas.
did skip a week, and the goal was to have a cruise on the high seas. I think we did it.
And?
Well, it's time for our opening segment, Conversation Starters, sponsored this week by Class Action University. Tonight's Conversation Starter comes from the most unreliable of sources, my noggin. Hey, Kelly, have you taken any interesting vacations lately?
Not lately. No, the last one was in December where I brought COVID home from Las Vegas. That was the last one. You have? You have
That's
COVID?
right. I just went on the JoCo Cruise, a vacation,
Uh-huh.
technically my first vacation since 2 years ago.
Well, you know what? I am very much interested in how the cruise went because you sent me a picture leaning over the railing. It was an over the railing shot, and you said musical scaffold because that was what I was saying they were probably going to do is put the band on a scaffold and
Right,
just
they were
run
going
it
to put
outside the
Jonathan
ship.
Colton himself and as many other nerd musicians as they could fit into
Mm-hmm.
the painting scaffold and just wheel them around the outside of the ship, singing to everyone as they were quarantined in their tiny cabins. No, luckily that didn't happen. I talked to one of the organizers, Storm D. Costanza, during the congratulations for being on half of these party, and he was like, "No, as far as I know, we have only the usual amount of sickness so far on this boat." So the onboarding process was interesting. We had to do a nasal swab here in Seattle within 72 hours, I think, of getting on the boat.
Okay.
We all went and did that. That wasn't cheap. And then at the cruise dock, they had us walk a few miles down. You know how each one of these cruise dock buildings is like 8 miles long. Anyway, we went down to a couple of blocks and went into this big rat maze, holding area, and got kind of a very light, like I don't even think those things really went even into our noses very much. A little light swab. We sat in a group with a little green ticket that said Group 1, and then after about 15 minutes of, chatting with other passengers, they let us all go as a group. I guess they cleared everyone in a block and said, "Okay, go get on board." And I think
So
that
this was in Florida. This was
true
down in
for
Florida, right?
everyone. I think everyone who went through that process and didn't get bumped. So it was pretty painless, and we didn't lose anybody. And that describes the whole cruise.
Okay. Everyone present and accounted for, sir.
That picture off the back of
so
the ship, and I will add it to the video, was terrifying because, of course, I'm holding my iPhone out over the reckless waves, and I wanted to get that picture of that scaffold, and it came out so cool. The blue is so blue. Like, I did zero photoshopping to this thing. I mean, obviously the camera must have done its magic, but I didn't have to do anything to it. It's beautiful blue water and a straight shot down the back of the boat. I wanted to take a video of the same thing, but I was like, I am not holding my camera out there again.
Yeah. So since we're going to live vicariously through you on this vacation, let's go through the usual questions. First of all, the weather was great. Yes?
The weather was pretty perfect. So our first, our launch point was Fort Lauderdale. We stopped at Nassau the next day, and then we booked for a day and a half to get down to St. Croix. And during that time, the weather was quite stormy. Well, the water was quite choppy, and we were going pretty fast, and so the boat was kind of rocking. We were very lucky, that is to say, we chose smartly to have a cabin right at the middle of the ship. So
Ah,
we're
yeah,
you know, and so we weren't rocking
yeah.
as much as everyone else. But when we went to like dinner on the back or we went to a show on the front, it was just up and down, like side to side, crazy, scary. But
Did you get seasick? You didn't get
I
seasick, did you?
was completely unaffected in terms of
Okay.
seasickness. I think the whole family now has been on enough of these things that we're just used to it. So we enjoyed it. We knew a lot of people were out for a couple of days with, you know, the nicotine patch or the the IV drip or whatever they do to stop from getting seasick. But and the band, the performers were of course not having a good time even standing up sometimes. But
Oh yeah.
so during the at sea days, we did. I did a lot of juggling. Actually, there were 4 different juggling events that I just sort of showed up to and participated in, and we saw a bunch of shows. I didn't do a lot of gaming on this cruise. The game room was kind of sparsely populated, and no one liked wearing their masks for a whole, for that purpose. Um, so there wasn't a lot of gaming like there ought to be on this cruise, but I think that's that's the new normal. Um, we went to St. Croix in the Virgin Islands, and we found a cab driver who was driving some other people. Whoa, I lost you. Are you there?
Everything froze. So we left at you. You were talking about the games rooms.
There were not a lot of people in the gaming area. Nobody wanted to wear a mask for that purpose.
Oh, interesting.
I mean,
Okay.
there's plenty of people who kind of haven't ventured outside their house and they're just not used to wearing a mask. And even if you're used to it, you don't want to wear it all day. And so, the gaming room is in the dining room, and it's kind of a enclosed space, and it takes a long time. It's a big commitment to play a game. And I think a lot of people were just like, I don't want to do this, myself included. I did it a couple times, but there were more interesting and fun things to do on this ship than play board games. We sat outside a lot. We drank drinks. We had fun.
Did you eat constantly from morning till night? Buffets ahoy.
I think there is a pattern that we get into that's almost the same on every ship, every time we cruise, which is on day 1 we eat like crazy, and then we immediately regret it, and then we eat only those things we like, which is a pretty small fraction of things actually, because the regular cruise ship food is sort of what's the right word? It's assembly line food. It's not great. It's cafeteria food.
Oh yeah.
It's it's not al dente pasta. It's like uncooked pasta and kind of nasty meat sauce and this and that and
It's like
untrustworthy
the old country buffet
fish.
of the sea. Yeah. It's the old country buffet.
But more than once we paid the extra. So you can pay a little extra for much better food. So we paid to go to the steak restaurant on board and get very delicious steaks and maple dripped bacon hanging from a bar, and expensive desserts and so on, and like for a flat fee of like 30 or 40 bucks per person, you get the entire steakhouse experience. And so we're just like, well, I know the other food on board is free, but like I can only eat so many Nathan's hot dogs before I'm sick of it.
And the crowd on the boat, jovial, in good spirits.
Yeah, it was weird. It was a homecoming and a slight return to normal, but it was also like everybody had been quarantining for 2 years. I mean, there's nothing normal about that. So we were all glad to be there, but we were also sort of afraid of other people and the sun and every damn thing.
Well, overall, I hope you had a good experience. I'm sure the music was excellent as always. And you got to show off your juggling skills. Now, was this for trophy? Was this for just bragging rights?
No,
Was
not
this...
at all. This was instructional workshop. So
Oh,
someone who is first year circus arts dude uh, set up these workshops. They have a thing called the Shadow Cruise, which is basically run your own events, and we'll sort of barely approve everything, but like we're not going to deal with it. And that's what this guy
okay.
did. So he ran just 3 workshops where I just showed up and helped people learn juggling tricks. That's
Oh, that's
an
very
hour
cool
of
of you.
standing around juggling.
That's
Um,
very cool of you.
yeah, one of the things we saw was, and I haven't written it down, but there's a George Lucas talk show. It calls itself not a podcast, but I'm sure it's available where you get your favorite podcasts. But they did it live on the boat, and there's a George Lucas impersonator who's Ed McMahon is a Watto impersonator who's dressed up like Watto, like with a really like skin tight blue suit and a puffed out extra belly and a thong and this ridiculous like clown
Wow.
store elephant nose painted blue. And they sort of improvised a show. They had a couple of the ship guests on to talk about making comic books and stuff, and that was cool. And they were just joking with the staff, like having them bring drinks. Watto had a Watto-themed Taco Bell drink container, which he read off the back of, and it was like, "Oh, Watto is a slave owner, and isn't that great for kids? And don't you want to enjoy drinking your milk out of a little description of this horrible person from Taco Bell?" So George, I honestly, I apologize, forget the actual man's name, but George Lucas, ordered a milk from the bar, and so they brought him a milk, and he's like, "Let me have another one." So they brought him a bigger one, and this running gag went until he had like a half-gallon pitcher of milk, which he sat there and drank, and he was like, so Watto is talking to the comic book artist, George is sitting there and trying to power down a half-gallon of milk, and they've got three volunteers out of the audience to coat one of them with all of the temporary tattoos that they can't give away. So they're like, "How many sheets of temporary tattoos can you put on your entire body?" She's over in one corner of the stage. That's happening. George is downing the milk on the other side. It was complete chaos. And then he disappeared for a while to go backstage and puke it all back up again. I swear to God.
I'm sure.
Such a bad idea. And we're all just like, "George, that's such a bad idea. What are you doing?" He's like, "It's worth it for the bit."
Milk was a bad idea.
No, what are you doing? Anyway, that's the kind of live entertainment you can expect on the JoCo Cruise.
Anything and everything can happen. Yep. So you got home safely. I'm sure you were sad to leave the sunshine. I know you love the sunshine.
I'll tell you what, we were sick of the sunshine by the time we got out of it.
Really?
The very last stop was Half Moon Cay, which is Key? I think they say K actually. But whatever, half of them. It is a private island in the Bahamas owned by Holland America, and so it's kind of like getting off the boat and still being on the boat. But this was our sort of day to go to the beach, and we did the hell out of the beach. And by the time we got back on the boat, my neck was as red as this shirt.
Oh,
you know,
man.
we all outstayed the welcome of our sunscreen and got royally burnt. But I think actually, like even Colton was on stage like that night with just a bright red forehead. And we're like, "Yep, everybody got it."
Everybody got it. Everybody got their vitamin D. There they go.
Oh yeah, I felt like going to the GNC and like seeing if they wanted to take any extra vitamin D off my hands. Just I have so much now.
Well, your bones will be stronger than ever.
I should
There were some
hope
things-
so.
There were some things that, yeah.
My ankles look like frickin' subway maps, so I hope my bones are strong. I hope some part of me is still good.
Did you get like the farmer's tan?
I got
short
no.
sleeve tan?
I got the "you forgot to sunscreen there" tan. Like there's
Okay.
the tops of my feet are fine, but the backs of my legs are bright red because I'm like, that
Bright
doesn't
red.
get sun. Oh yeah, today it does.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. That always hurts when the top of the calves get burnt. I hate that.
When you sit on a 7-hour flight that spends an extra hour on the tarmac wearing a pair of jeans and sunburned legs, crossing your legs and trying to be comfortable, that's the trip home from the cruise. Yeah, that's I hate to complain, but ow.
Yeah, that's not fun. That's where you just, kind of grit your teeth. It's like a tattoo session. You grit your teeth and you power through it. It's like, this will be done soon. This will be done soon.
Yeah, but I'll have nothing to show for it. If I had a pretty picture on my leg after all this was over, maybe I'd be happy about it.
Well, you'll have the peeling for a while. I don't know if you peel. I peel. So.
Well, it just depends on how severe it is. So far, no, we're not
Okay.
peeling, but I give it another
Okay.
couple of days.
Well, I think you're appealing, though.
Oh,
just so
thank
you
you.
know.
Thank you so
You're
much. I bet I'd
so
be even
welcome.
sexier with a tattoo on my legs. I know. I'll get a tattoo of the sunburn. I'll just get my
Okay.
leg painted red,
bright-
and
bright
it'll
red.
always look like I forgot to
What?
cover that spot.
What is that? That's my
Nora
tattoo.
Nora got it worse because she used a roll-on that didn't apply correctly, so she's just striped. She's
Striped.
got white parts and red parts. Uh-huh.
Oh, poor kiddo. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, James, the Eiffel Tower grew 6 meters.
Grew. How on
Yeah.
earth did it do that?
A new antenna has been attached.
Oh, of course.
So, today, actually, today on the day of recording, a new digital radio antenna was attached to the top of the monument. So the Eiffel Tower is now 6 meters taller, everyone. Hooray! It's growing up. Our little baby's growing up.
Did I read something that you can't photograph it at night, or you can't publish photographs of the Eiffel Tower at night? Like France owns the copyright and they won't let you publish any. During the day, it's fine, but at night you can't. I read this about the Eiffel Tower.
Then what
On
did they
that
do
old
with all the
reliable
tourists who
internet.
take? Yeah, okay. If it's on the internet, it's true. Like this story. I've seen pictures of it, but apparently there was a demon rock in Japan that was housing a demon in it for almost 1,000 years, called the Killing Stone. And
But finally, he just couldn't afford the rent anymore, and he moved into somebody's dining room table.
Well, people are worried that now that this demon is out and loose because the rock cracked.
Oh,
And so, so it split in two, and believers are kind of panicking about it. The Japanese
what
legend.
caused it to split?
Well, scientists are saying most likely it is cold weather, freezing, the contraction, the expansion, that stuff. However, the believers, basically the legend is that anyone who comes in contact with the rock will die. But it is
Not Dwayne
home-
Johnson. This other rock.
It is it is home to a demon called Tamomo no Me, also known as the nine-tailed fox. And there's a whole history on it out there, but there was a sacred rope around it holding the demon in place, and the rope fell off and the rock split. And so as if we don't have enough stuff going on in 2022, there is now a nine-tailed demon.
Well, he's got
loose.
4 Western horsemen of the apocalypse to contend with. War is showing an extremely good final leg here in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, they had talks. Kiev right now is is in a 35-hour oh my God, I can't. Curfew. Thank you.
Yeah.
Curfew's in effect there. The Russian TV journalist who did her own protest with the cardboard sign on live TV, she has now been arrested, and she faces up to 15 years in prison for doing that. But the majority of the Russians are like, no, we're done with this, with the lies here. So we don't.
Yeah,
want
I
them.
mean, that's good. I think that, the as we get farther into the future, it's harder and harder, I think, for government to control all media. And I think ultimately that's good. Like it does us a lot of disservice because no one can control the damn media. And so, well, for instance, the Russians are filling ours with garbage, but still better if people can get access to uncompromised, unfettered, uncensored content about what's happening
Yep.
around them.
Yep. So, the Russians have taken some really hard hits on their troops, and so I think Vladimir and his cabinet and folks from Ukraine were sitting down and talking to see if they could come to a stop to this. But no, not yet. Not yet. There's estimations that the ceasefire and the stop should be over in 10 days or something. Like this thing should be done in 10 days. But
I don't know. I've read that the next 10 days are crucial, but I really doubt that we'll make any progress. It's very hard to make a crazy person stop doing crazy things. You really have to take his toys away.
Mm-hmm. Moving closer to home with the Seattle hockey team, the Kraken. They got their organist. Every hockey game needs an organist, right?
Yeah.
But what I love about this is it's the organist from the movie Slapshot.
Okay.
Now, if you've never seen the movie Slapshot, there's an iconic
I have never
scene.
seen the movie Slapshot.
The actor's name is Rod Masters, and he didn't even get credit in the 1977 film. But there's a couple of scenes with him. There's one scene where one of the players does a slap shot, and the puck flies right into the booth, conks him in the head, knocks him right out. So the next time you see the organist, he's wearing a hockey helmet to protect his head. And then Paul Newman's character at another time comes in because the organist starts playing Lady of Spain, and Paul Newman busts into the booth, grabs the music, tears it up, goes, "Don't ever play Lady of Spain again." So this guy, who is an actual hockey organist, he's 68 years old, and he got hired by the Kraken, and I think that's absolutely terrific. So
Oh, that's
there's
great.
a great picture. There's a great picture of him sitting there with a Kraken jersey and a hockey helmet on his head, sitting in front of the organ. So I will put that up, but I will also put a link up to that iconic scene in Slapshot, which cracks me up every time. Anyway, I love that movie. James, we're going to take a break. We're going to talk to our sponsor.
Good idea.
This episode of Here All Week includes a public service announcement about money, brought to you by Class Action University. We also do stakes.
Parents, is it time to talk to your kids about money?
Daddy, how can I store the value of my work?
Good question. Ask your mother.
Kids today are smarter than you think. They absorb knowledge from everywhere.
And sooner or later, they are going to find out about money.
More than half of kids aged 12 and up have experimented with money at least once.
Yet our financial education is often left to chance.
Children often grow up with very little understanding about how money really works.
Mom, how can I facilitate trade?
If we don't teach our kids about money, they'll learn it. They'll learn about it from their friends.
Mom, is there a system that's accepted as a universal medium of exchange?
I don't know, honey. Ask your father?
We all dread the talk, that uncomfortable moment when your innocent child must learn about the birds and the consumer products.
Most parents don't know how to talk to their kids about money without feelings of shame, fear, or embarrassment.
And the educational system isn't much help.
I'll say, you won't get good financial advice from your gym teacher. You know, the guy who also teaches shop, because he can't make the payments on his '98 Corolla.
And despite what your crazy uncle believes, barter-only education programs simply don't work.
Our children need to learn that things just don't come from Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. They also come from the mall and the internet.
I remember as a child walking in on my parents while they were doing their taxes.
Me too. They tried to tell me they were just having sex, but I knew something was up.
Let's be honest, paying bills and buying things are natural parts of life.
People with money are often thought of as exotic or dangerous.
But money can be healthy and beautiful if you learn to use it right.
In the media, money is often portrayed as dirty, complicated, and even unsafe.
Yet, by the age of 11, the average child witnesses more than 10,000 simulated financial transactions in TV, movies, and even online.
Kids are bound to have questions, and it's up to us to help them understand.
That bank teller, she's just performing a service. That money isn't even hers.
And even if it were, there's nothing morally wrong with what she does. She just works at a bank, handing money to strangers.
If you're uncomfortable talking to your kids about money, you can subscribe to a new work group from Class Action University called Talking to Your Kids About Money.
This handy teaching aid starts at just $9.95 with monthly payments of $49.95. That's less than a latte every day.
You can cancel your subscription at any time, but aren't your children worth more than less than a daily latte?
Or like about the same as a medium-sized goat every 3 months?
Yes, you bet they are, because you love them and you want them to understand.
Goats. Talk to your kids about money today with help from Class Action University.
We also do steaks.
Where are you buying your lattes for $49.95?
Well, that's a whole month's worth of lattes.
It's a whole month.
I mean, really, that comes down to like a $4 latte 10 times a month. A whole month of lattes is like 3 times that.
A whole month of lattes.
Why
Brought
I
to
haven't
you by
seen you in a whole
Nabisco.
month of lattes, young lady.
No. Look at you. You're all grown up. That foam and everything.
Why, when a man and his wife love a new stereo very, very much.
Oh, James. Oh, it's so glad to have you back. So good. I'm so glad.
You know, I was only gone for one episode. It's not like I was on some sort of out at war. I didn't join the army.
No, but still, that Monday didn't feel right.
Oh, well, I missed you too. Actually, I forgot about Seattle altogether. But now that I'm back, I remember it very well.
I missed you too. Not really, just saying that.
Just making noises to make you feel better over here. I mean, let's be
Just
honest
saying
about
that.
where we are.
I'm going to throw some music trivia at you since you just came off a musical cruise. Are you ready?
If it's about Jonathan Colton, I might get 50% of them. It took me until this year to realize that Amy Mann was the lead singer for Till Tuesday. So that's how far I've gotten in my life.
you're kidding.
Well,
Amy Mann.
I knew the band, but not the artist. That's fairly typical.
I interviewed Amy Mann when I was working in radio, and it was a Sunday morning, and she and her guitarist that were there were not in good moods at all. They were
Oh,
just
well, she's a
not.
regular on this cruise now. She plays in all the music groups, just,
yeah.
Whenever they need backup.
Yep. Yeah, she's very incredibly talented, but I just wouldn't. I don't hold it against them because it was 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning after a Saturday night performance, and B, you'd been touring a lot, so you're tired. You're just tired of the grind. So
I don't know. After a Saturday night performance, 8 o'clock in the morning is like 8 o'clock the previous night. It's like they haven't slept yet.
All right, James, these are going to be tough. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, I brought my brain, so I'll do the best I can.
Good. I'm glad. Which band, group, or artist is credited as the best-selling artists worldwide?
Wow. See, I would be able to give you that answer in 1984, but now I'm completely without hope.
There was recently a documentary about them on Netflix.
Oh, is it the Beatles?
It is the Beatles, yes.
Good. It's still the Beatles then. Good for them.
Let's see. What is the name of the band who wrote the song that inspired Lady Gaga's stage name?
Oh,
Think Gaga.
Is it Radio Gaga? I mean, is that the
it's
song?
Queen.
Oh, it's
That's
Queen.
the song.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's Queen. Yep, you are
I was
correct.
working towards that. I was getting there. There was actually a Queen cover band on the JoCo Cruise. They did their own
seriously?
set, and then they were like, "We're gonna sneak into the karaoke at midnight and do a whole Queen set." And everybody was like, "Okay, good."
That's cool. What was Willie Nelson's job before he became a famous country and western singer?
Was he a cowboy? He loves cowboys.
No.
He hung sheetrock. I give up.
He was a Bible salesman.
No kidding.
He was a Bible salesman. Before his
I want to see
illustrious...
Glengarry Glen Ross, but starring a young Willie Nelson selling Bibles.
Put that coffee
Put
down.
that coffee is for closers and Jesus.
Before his big old solo career, Peter Gabriel was the lead singer for which band?
Genesis.
Yes, that is correct.
So that's another Bible question.
Which country and western singer-songwriter was awarded a special posthumous Pulitzer Prize in 2010 for songwriting? I didn't know this.
Wow, that's I have no idea.
That's deep. That's Hank Williams. That's deep.
A Pulitzer for Hank Williams.
Mm-hmm. Posthumous, too. So all you have to do is just be
Because his
quiet.
heart was made of knotty pine.
Which past president of the United States of America used Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA as his presidential campaign song, where the message of that song completely went over their heads?
Wow. Was it George Bush?
It was Ronald Reagan.
Oh, it was Ronald Reagan. Okay.
Yeah, where...
Well,
did you guys
Bush
even
was
listen
there.
to this song? Did you listen to the lyrics?
Yeah, baby, this party rips the bones from your back and so forth.
Pretty much. And let's see, one more. What is the name of the band who released the #1 selling album ever in the United States? Sang songs like Desperado, Take It
Oh,
Easy.
that's the Eagles then.
It is. It is. Thank you, James. Judges? Great. And what does he get today? Oh, the washer dryer. Good for
Oh,
you.
that's good. Well, when a man and his wife love, a new washer-dryer combo. Very, very much.
They get clean clothes. We're just doing laundry, honey. We're just doing laundry.
It looks like something else.
Go back to your room. Go back to sleep. Folks, as always, thank you so much for joining us today. Coming up this week for me is work. We officially closed on the house. Numbers have been submitted to the county. We are official homeowners. We got the keys. Good to go.
That's awesome. That's pretty fast.
Yes.
Well, that's pretty fast since I just disappeared for 2 weeks.
It's true. It is. It went very quickly. The realtor said it was in her top 5 fastest from looking to closing. So
That's awesome.
yeah. So
You're going to find there's demons living in that house or something. Something made this process go so fast.
Well, was it the Demon Rock? I don't know. Like I said, in the last show, there's probably a hellmouth somewhere.
Right.
So
There's a well in the crawl space that leads straight to hell.
there's a hellmouth. So I will use that as kind of the center of the entertainment. You know how people face their living room furniture towards the fireplace? I'm going to face mine towards the hellmouth. I think
Right.
that's
You
the
don't want to
big
put the coffee
entertainment.
table so close that it gets sucked in, but you also want to
No.
be, close enough to
No.
talk about it. It's a conversation piece. You have
It is.
you have the names of all the damned stamped into the cross beams in the ceiling and just a sort of a black hole of space-time sort of eating the corner of the dining room.
And the constant low hum that coming from
Right.
it.
You
That
can
low
almost
hum.
make out words, but you're not sure they're in English.
And are you recuperating this week? Or are you jumping right back into it? What's going on?
Man, I couldn't help but jump back into it. Yesterday, the first thing that I did was accidentally get invited, not accidentally, unexpectedly
Accidentally.
get invited as a guest of honor at a brand new game show in San Diego. So my friend Mondo Vega runs a whole bunch of these Pacific Con shows, and this one is called South Pacific Con, and it's happening the 1st of May. So, yeah, I went from, yes, I would love to help you fill your hotel block to, actually, you're the guest of honor now. Okay.
Oh, wow. Wow. And it's called South Pacific Con?
Yeah, he's run a thing called Pacific Con for years and years, and I forget, it's in LA or San Francisco,
Okay.
one of those two. But he does a whole suite of conquest cons. He ran one in Seattle for a while, but it didn't take. Seattle's a hard place to run a game show. But yeah,
Now,
that's happening. And the reason that I have to tread water really fast this week is that a week from Thursday, I'm taking the train down to Portland for yet another gaming con, because as long as Omicron doesn't come back too hard, the con season is on, man.
it
And
is
everybody wants to
going
go.
forward. Yep,
Yeah.
it's going forward. Folks, as always, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate your time. Oh, by the way, congratulations to our dozens, our dirty dozens, our baker's dozens. We have now gone over the 4,000 download listened shows mark. So thank you. It wouldn't be possible without you. So we really appreciate your support in this endeavor. As always, be kind. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to your friends, your family, your neighbors, your community. We are all going through it. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Kelly Wright.
And I'm James Ernest, and we're here all week.